Maybe you're doing okay, but want to invest smarter, grow faster. MillionaireX.ai gives you real step-by-step strategies to ditch debt or stack wealth. Stop dreaming and start planning. Visit MillionaireX.ai today. I want you to be the next millionaire next door.
Finding the right real estate professional can be challenging. I'm broker Melissa Wilson. I'm knowledgeable in all aspects of the real estate process. So whether you're looking to buy new or an existing home or have a commercial need, I'm here to help.
Let's stop acting like we don't see how this game is played. If you tired of folks throwing shade with a smile and keeping you boxed in with that slick behind-the-scenes racism, it's time to upgrade your survival skills. See, Phillip Scott dropped more than just knowledge. He handed you a playbook with passive-aggressive racism in the system of white supremacy. This ain't the in-your-face kind. This is that sneaky, office space, let me block your blessings type of racism that'll have you questioning your own reality. It's time to call it what it is and arm yourself with the facts. But baby, don't stop at just peeping the system. Break those mental chains too. That's why you need 7 steps to decolonize the mind. This is about freeing yourself up top, walking in confidence, and letting the world know your mind is not for rent, lease, or layaway. It's time to reclaim your power step by step. So don't just watch, take action. Click over to Amazon.com, type in passive-aggressive racism in the system of white supremacy and 7 steps to decolonize the mind, and secure both books for yourself, your crew, and anybody ready for that mental liberation. La Sherika said it, now go do it. Invest in your freedom. Pick up both books today on Amazon.com. Trust me, your mind will thank you.
After 13 years of exposing lies in the media, I discovered the biggest lie of all. They want you to think racism is random, accidental, just bad people doing bad things. But what if I told you anti-black racism was engineered, programmed like software, marketed like a product, and designed to survive across generations? That's exactly what I prove in my new book, Us versus the Machine, How Anti-Black Racism Was Programmed, Marketed, and Made to Survive. This isn't another book about what racism looks like. This is the blueprint of how it was built, who profits from it, and most importantly, how to dismantle it. I spent years connecting dots that they never wanted connected, following money trails that they thought were buried, exposing the machine that runs on our oppression. Knowledge is power, but strategic knowledge is liberation. Get Us versus the Machine on Amazon today, because once you understand the system, you can beat the system.
If you have not been tuning in before, my goodness, you've missed out on a lot. Broke boy, but with potential. What made you realize this soft life is for me?
I deserve it. Because main money is special. I'm single.
But you don't like to be alone now. I'm looking for a guy to break my heart.
As long as they're Nigerians now.
Watch Slay Queen Nigeria, only on the African Diaspora News Channel app.
From November 14th to 21st, we're inviting you to join us for a powerful trip to Ghana. This isn't just a vacation. This is a chance to walk through the same places where many of our people were captured, held, and shipped off into slavery. So don't wait. Secure your spot today. We're making history by walking through it. Will you be with us?
In H-Town, we want news that speaks truth, just like we do.
ADNC keeps me informed and him inspired.
We've been through too much to trust mainstream media. This feels like us.
From the D to the diaspora, ADNC is how I stay woke.
We binge ADNC like it's Netflix.
but smarter.
They speak on us, but never for us. ADNC does.
No fluff. No filters. Just the truth, daily.
From Wall Street to 125th, we're watching our news.
Download the African Diaspora News Channel app today to stay connected to the culture.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for coming with us tonight. It is September 4th. I'm going to give you a hand clap as always. Give you a hand clap. We are here. So tonight, there was a Gallup poll came out about anti-black racism and how the majority of the country that's participated feel that it is still widespread. And I will say, duh, of course it's widespread. But we're going to get to that tonight. And what shall we do about it? And actually understanding some reality with anti-black racism in the area of how we're always going to be treated in this country. Definitely when a particular group of people is still running the show. Now make sure as our book now is on sale, get out Us versus the Machine book. Make sure you do that, ladies and gentlemen, in Amazon. I see some people starting to pick it up. I greatly appreciate that. And remember, books always support supporters. That's for sure. So you say, hey man, I want to support y'all, but I want to get a tangible product at the same time. I'm with you. Yeah, you can buy a book or get the app. That's always a beautiful thing. Getting the app. And I'm going to talk to y'all about that too here shortly. But we greatly appreciate everybody who has definitely purchased a book. We greatly appreciate that. A couple of things I want to run by y'all. 2026. So it's looking like my birthday weekend in June. We'll be doing the Toronto event. That'll be an ADNC event because the other event was with somebody else. It wasn't our stuff, right? So unless something happened, I don't think it will. And it don't matter if something happened because, for instance, I could have went to Toronto, but the way it worked is I could have went, but I couldn't have got back. But I could have got back, but they chose not to go that route. So that's that. But our event, ADNC, we ain't gonna have them problems. So we're looking at June, first weekend. I think first weekend of June. Okay, for Toronto, Canada. There was a lot of people disappointed that we didn't. Well, I didn't show up, so I gotta go. Okay, and Toronto is a city that supports us a lot. You know, from the analytics. Also, we're looking at Johannesburg, South Africa, doing a event in Johannesburg. Now in South Africa, that is the number one African country that do support us on the platform. Of course, we talked about doing things here, of course, in the United States, going to different cities and all of that. And I'm thinking more so town hall style because, you know, I'm a firm believer of I talk enough. I like to engage with the people. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell y'all sometime, hey, let's engage. I don't want to be sitting just talking to somebody all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't like doing that. I like people to engage a little bit. So we're looking at like I say specific cities for that, even here in the United States. And like I said, that you know, a lot of people have thrown different cities at me for sure. So we're definitely gonna be looking at, you know, which ones we want to narrow down. I just know for sure I got to go to New York City. That's just hands down. I have to. New York City is the city that supports us. Like they always the top city in our analytics always. So, and anytime I go to New York, man, I get a lot of love out there, man. It don't matter, you know, whether them brothers and sisters are FBA Black American or they Caribbean or they African. I always get, man, a lot of love out there in New York. So shout out to New York, man. Always get some love out there. Now let's talk about real quick, and I want y'all to I'm asking. I need y'all to talk to me, okay? I need y'all to talk to me. So, you know, we got the ADNC app, right? Okay, cool. I call that 1.0, right? Well, we want to do basically the 2.0 upgrade of that app, but it'll be the new infrastructure. So the app will stay the same, but the only thing we would do, kind of like YouTube, the app stays the same, but they just add features. And of course, adding features down the line, that's cool. You can just always add features. Those costs are not too much. It's just establishing the new infrastructure is what costs a little bit, right? So where we at with that? So I already have one of the brothers that's actually working in-house. He's working on the user interface, so basically what it's going to actually look like. He's working on that right now. He's going to get it to me, and we're going to go back and forth on that. So we just had a meeting today about that particular upgrade. Now, that particular upgrade to get everything in there we want, like live streaming, that we can live stream within our own app, okay, live streaming, because that's very important, not trying to put another player there and then live stream. No, the live stream directly in your app. Of course, your comments, like people have been asking for a better comment section and how to handle that. Picture-in-picture, background play, better functionality, and things like that, right? When we break it all down, and I looked at the itemized list, it's going to end up costing about $25K to get that done, to be honest with you. The most expensive part for what I'm looking at is the front end and the back end work from what I looked at today, but we had a meeting about that. Now, could we do it here on our own? It'll take a little time, but we can get it done. Or I want to present something else to you, and it's something I don't present, and I haven't presented like this in a long time to anything. So what if we make it a community project? What I mean by that is this. We can do a lot faster if, let's say, we had crowdfunded that particular upgrade. Now, it's not that the app isn't in existence, because you see it already function. You can download it, whatever, today. So it's not like it's not in existence. But I was thinking that I'm going to ask them and see what they say. If they say, yeah, man, I'm with it, let's do it. Or if they say, nah, then hey, I'm fine, okay? Either way. But some people may want to participate in that. Now, I'm thinking if we do this, it's an if, like give perks that you normally wouldn't give. Like, for instance, I thought about, the lifetime is like, what, $1,000 right now? Well, let's say a person gave $500. Okay, now they got lifetime, 50% off. They given to the crowdfunding campaign. Of course, always to run to it finishes, right? Or do say that you say like you got a 1 year, right? A 1 year subscription. Give a 2 year subscription, basically for the price of 1 year. You know what I'm saying? Or do a 1 year subscription, but half off of that. Like, so if it's like $99, you do $49.99 or $50 or something like that. Just to try to make it more of an incentive to do it, because they say, okay, I'm putting into this. Well, I want to get more out of it. And I think, in my opinion, but y'all can give me some other ideas. I think, in my opinion, that would be a better way, especially the lifetime one. Because think about it, you have the price and you got it for lifetime, right? So, y'all tell me, is that something that we should do, we shouldn't do? And would y'all be a part of that project? Because if y'all help out with that, we get it done a whole lot faster. But let me know. I like to hear from y'all. Nothing has been set up. I said I was going to ask y'all first before we do anything. And I even may put up, if y'all want me to put up a poll or something, I could, and just see what y'all think about that. But that's what it's going to cost to get the upgrade. Like I said, the app and how it got set up, we paid for it all ourselves. We didn't come to nobody about anything. We did it. It took time, but we did it, right? Well, I think, the next iteration, hey, why not? But only y'all can know what y'all willing to do and what y'all not willing to do, right? But just let us know, and we'll rock it from there. All right. Let me see what y'all's. Let me see. Lisa, what do you mean by we should make it more like YouTube? What do you mean, Lisa? Can you explain that to me? Because I'm always taking ideas. What do you mean by make it like YouTube? I'm trying to figure that portion out. Because I don't know, because we're not YouTube, and YouTube is a platform that people just uploading to, and that's a lot of servers. YouTube has a lot of servers, and they make YouTube make what, I don't know how many billion a year. They make billions a year, and they invest heavy into their servers. So we don't want to do a YouTube, because when you become a YouTube, it becomes something different, right? And also, there's a lot of money that goes into that being YouTube. Okay, so I don't know what that's about. And beyond with you, you know, you look at NBC News or any places, you know, like I said, they post what they post or whatever. And it's not that we're trying to be NBC News. We're not trying to be them. We want to be ourselves. But I just trying to figure out, you say way more easier because sometimes it's hard to see, and that's or close to it. And see, that's Lisa. And that's what that upgrade's about, Lisa. Some people say that. Maybe you're using an Android. I don't know. But some people say that for them. So that's what this upgrade is about. That's why we had that discussion today in that meeting and say, look, we got to do that. We got to do this. We got to get it a certain way because, we just got to do it. We just got to do it. So what are you using, Lisa? Are you using an Android or are you using an iPhone? I'm curious. I'm curious. What are you using? Well, while Lisa gives that information to me, let's go ahead and get started. But y'all just let me know, and I'll circle back with that. All right, so let's go to our article, and you got an iPhone. Okay, you got an iPhone. All right, and you say you having difficulty with it. Okay, yeah, I haven't had any, but okay. But that's why you want to do the upgrade, Lisa. That's why right there. So to eliminate all of that issue, you know, YouTube put money into their product because hey, people are watching it, right? All right. So let me get here. All right. Boom. Let's start here. Americans believe anti-black racism is widespread, and you know, I think we were discussing this morning. Specificity is a beautiful thing. See, if you just say racism, that encompasses a whole lot of things and a whole lot of people. But when you say anti-black racism, it lets you know exactly who you are talking about. And they didn't do that automatically. That came from the grassroots. We started definitely saying it here. Because I remember when I started saying it, I said, wait a minute. I'm not saying the word racism anymore. I said, we got to talk about who we are talking about. And with the delineation movement and all of that, we got to say anti-black. We're not saying the word racism. We're saying anti-black racism. Let you know we're talking about us, okay? So that particular language has gotten into the other outlets. All right. So let's scroll down here a little bit. So it says, according to new Gallup polls, 64% of Americans believe racism against black people is widespread in the U.S. The figure ties with the previous reading in 2021 as the highest recorded in Gallup's periodic measurements since 2008. So non-Hispanic black adults continue to be the most likely to say such racism is prevalent in the country, with 83% expressing this view. So the majority of black people feel racism is widespread. Yes, because we are the victims of it. Small majorities of Hispanic, 64%, and non-Hispanic white adults agree, 61% agree. Now, so these findings are based on the June 2nd through 26th Gallup survey that included oversamples of black and Hispanic adults to allow for more precise estimates among those subgroups as the overall sample was weighed so all racial ethnic groups represented in their proper proportions in the U.S. population. They say they first asked that question in 2008, around the time of Obama. They say 56% of U.S. adults thought racism was widespread. However, by the following year, the start of Barack Obama's presidency, it dipped to 51%. So even with Obama, they say it went down, but it never went under 50%. They say the next reading in 2015 went to 60%. It came after several high-profile killings of black people by white police officers. It has since remained above that level. I say conversely, Americans believe that racism against white people, they say, is widespread. It's the lowest of the 5 readings since 2008. The 29% of U.S. adults who now hold this belief is significantly lower than the previous reading of 41% in 2016, with black, white, Hispanic adults holding similar views. Okay, now let's get to perception of bias against black Americans at record highs. Has it ever? We had record lows. Let's say when asked if black people in their community are treated less fairly than white people. In various situations, 57% of U.S. adults say black people are treated less fairly in dealings with the police, such as traffic incidents. That's far greater than percentage who say black people are treated unfairly when engaging in any other 5 activities measured, including when receiving health care. We're not treated right there. When shopping at downtown stores or shopping malls, it's at 36%, while at work, 34%. When in restaurants, bars, or entertainment venues, 32%. And when in neighborhood shops, 30%. Still, these perceptions of unfair treatment have steadily rising since 2016 and are now at record or near record highs. Now, why is that? Why is that happening, ladies and gentlemen? Why does this keep going up? Now, Trump wasn't in office during the time of Biden, yet we still had these issues and problems going on during Biden. So it doesn't matter if you have a Republican president, don't matter if you have a Democrat president. These problems are still there. Why? Why is these problems still there? Because you're dealing with the culture of anti-black racism. It's a culture. It's not just individual racism from somebody. It's anti-black racism. And if you look at the common denominator out of all the majority of this, I know other groups got their anti-black racism too, so I'm not saying that other groups don't. But if you look at the common denominator, most of us don't work for Latinos or Asians or any other people, right? We don't. Most folks work for white folks for the most part, white-owned corporations. Let me say that, right? So when they mention work, entertainment venues, especially the big ones, who own them? You know what I'm saying? We don't own them all, that's for sure. When you engage these people in their culture, now to say all of them going to treat you that way, no, I would never say that. I would never say that, 'cause that's not the truth. But it's still the culture, and some fake it very well. You know, y'all know the fakery, right? Some fake it very, very well, and then some just can't fake, and they just going to show out. You understand what I'm saying? Because how many of them have you seen or heard, they'd be so nice to you, then you find out from somebody that say, man, I heard them talking bad about you, calling y'all kind of N-words, and like what? Like a decent white person, they'll come back and tell you, hey, watch them. They are not cool at all. They smile in your face, but they can't stand black people. You know what I'm saying? Because they are the kings and queens of phony. Oh, they'll be so phony nice to you. Oh, you think, man, they some good people. And they can't stand your goods. Oh, well, I've seen that before, right? Well, let me go ahead and get back to it. I don't know how many of y'all have seen that before, right? All right, cool. So they said most of the increases reflect higher percentage of all racial ethnic groups today, they said, than in 2016, believing that black people in their community face unfair treatment. They say throughout the trend, black adults have been more likely than white and Hispanic adults to receive the differential treatment that exists in each situation. Ever since 2021, black Americans' perception of unfair treatment in the various situations had either held steadily or declined slightly, with a particularly large decline from 56% to 40%, and to believe black people are treated unfairly in neighborhood shops. Meanwhile, white and Hispanic adults have either maintained their views about unfair treatment against black Americans or become more likely to perceive that it exists, particularly with respects to receiving health care. Now, like I say, I'm reading all this for a reason, and I'm going to get to it. I say the chart shows Americans' views on whether black people are treated less fairly than white people and have changed across 6 different situations, broken down by racial groups. They say in 2025, black adults consistently express the highest perception of unfair treatment in dealing with the police. They say 77% of black adults say black people are treated less fairly. In healthcare, 59% of black adults report. So the majority of black people say in healthcare, we aren't treated right. And I say 54% is the majority. In shopping malls, we aren't treated right. 59% say on the job, we aren't treating it right, right? They say perceived unfairness in restaurants, bars, theaters, or other entertainment places, 43%. They say black adults receive unfairness in neighborhood shops, 40%. So it looks like the majority feel that with the police, healthcare, in downtown or shopping malls, and on the job, that's where the majority of all this is at, right? That's where it's at, ladies and gentlemen. Now. Let's go down a little bit here. When they're talking about majority still sees improved civil rights, fewer call for new laws. So even as the majority of Americans believe racism against black people widespread in the U.S., most still think that during their lifetime, civil rights for black people have improved. Nearly 7 in 10 adults in the U.S. think civil rights for black people are greatly at 28%, somewhat 40% improved. They say while 17% say they stayed the same, 10% somewhat worse, and 4% greatly worsened. They say although the U.S. assessment of Black American civil rights is generally positive, it's less positive than in the past. So when Gallup asked that question in 95, 83% of Americans thought the civil rights of Black people in the U.S. had improved. It rose higher in 2011 during Obama's presidency, before declining to the lowest point of 59% in 2020 after George Floyd's death. And they said 2021 U.S. adults were more positive about the trajectory of Black American civil rights, but not to the degree seen earlier. Now, in some instances, they say Black people are doing a little bit better, but in other instances, they say it's still widespread, okay? Now, we'll get to housing and all that, because to me, that's actually important, but let me get back on screen real quick. Well, civil rights isn't more so the thing that I'll focus on right now, because civil rights can be used by anybody. That's not really specific for Black people, at least not anymore. What I would focus more on right now is not civil rights, it's reparations. Not civil rights, anti-Black hate crime bill. Not civil rights, but we get home loans and business loans and housing. Getting. I'm not talking about Section 8. I'm talking about housing as having a single family home for Black families, and not be here messing around with apartments that's charging you just as much as a mortgage. Having low interest rates when you get these things, getting in homes that you can afford, not homes that you can't afford. So you can stay in your home. You understand what I'm saying? That's the sort of thing that I would say the focus should be right now with Black people. It's about establishing ourselves, doing for ourselves. Because listen, let me tell you something. Martin Luther King said something, and it's profound. He said, you cannot govern the affairs of the heart. No law can govern that. In other words, they can make all the laws they want, but you can't stop these people from being anti-Black racist towards you, because no law can stop that. The law can limit the expression of it. It can limit violence of it by saying, hey, you do anything like this, you can go to jail. It can only limit the expression of it, but the sentiment is there, because let's call it what it is. The majority of Black people don't have a violent encounter with anti-Black racism. Like the police videos and all of that, that is not an everyday occurrence for Black people. It's not. You would deal with more anti-Black racism at your job, the bank, the grocery store, places like that. You're quicker to see it there. And it's not going to come to you in a violent way. It's going to come at you in a passive-aggressive way. Maybe someone just be rude, but or whatever on your job. You know, like I say, they're trying to get you fired for on BS. You know what I'm saying? Sabotaging your job. Or, you know, like last night on a podcast, we covered a sister that worked at her job for 12 years. And she'd been there, no issue, no problem. And then when she had a white supervisor and actually showed them up, because basically the sister knew her stuff, she ended up getting fired behind showing them up. That's the kind of stuff that I'm more focused on, is that the sister losing her job, I could, you know, I don't care. I always tell people, I don't care if you call me a name, I can call your name back. That's not an issue. But I do care with economic sabotage. I'm big about economic sabotage, because you don't have to like me. You can call me a name. You can do whatever you want. Just don't economically sabotage me. Don't sabotage me in the area of me getting knowledge. Don't do that either. But I think for me, economic sabotage is the worst, because, okay, you don't like me at this store, I don't have to go to your store. I can go to another store. Well, with economics, we can build our own stores. We don't have to go to theirs. And what America likes to do, especially with Black people, is give you a job to pay you just enough where you can pay your bills and maybe have a couple of dollars left over, but you can't really thrive. They keep you in survive mode. That's how this system works. It's a very evil system. When they talk about capitalism, capitalism only benefit those who got money. It don't benefit the rest of the society that don't have money like that. And I'm not saying billionaire money. I'm saying you could have 100,000, 150,000, 200,000 a year. You're getting a little money, so capitalism could benefit you. But when you're not making that kind of money, capitalism is not a good system. It's really not. allowing a person to amass so much land and so much money, and they can hoard it all, while all these people over here, like I said, man, it's not like saying you give me $5 or give me $100. Like, bro, like, can you just release a little bit of it so we can create more jobs or something? Or are you hoarding these, or you got all this billions of dollars? Can they at least open up some businesses so we can get some jobs? Something? Why are you hoarding money? Like, you can't spend billions of dollars in your lifetime. What's the point of having that? You know what I'm saying? But we as black people have to understand that's not going to go away. Racism is not going away. The only way you can deal with racism, if you don't want to deal with racism, like I said before, I don't care what nobody say. The only way you can get away from racism is get away from them and go to any country where they're not running it. And then don't go to Latin America because they got racism there too. So I'm going to say a black country, because you're not going to deal with racism. You're going to deal with issues over there. It may be because you're a different culture. Maybe you're a foreigner, and somebody don't like foreigners. But it's not going to be on, well, I don't like you because you're black. It's not going to be that reason. You know what I'm saying? But if you're going to stay in America, you better understand how to deal with racism, how to anti-black racism, how to navigate it, if you're going to deal with it, okay, and deal with people in America. That's why I say get the book. Get our book. We detail all of that for you to help you out. You know what I'm saying? Now, you say you remember black and white water fountains with colored and white written on it? Yeah. I mean, and they didn't maintain the colored water fountains like talking about. They didn't. Even to this day, if you look at the resources that go to the black communities and all of that, they don't do well for black people. They don't put the good food in our neighborhoods. They put the liquor. They make sure the liquor stores are in there. The Arabs own all the gas stations, or the Indians, or whatever. They allow crime there. We don't have the nice gyms like Equinox or Lifetime and all them high-end gyms. We don't get that in the black communities. The only time you see that show up, unless they go gentrify the area, then they go give it to you. But anti-black racism are here. So what are we going to do about it? What could we do about it as a community? First, accept that it's here and it's not going nowhere. Number two, understand that's part of them people culture. So with them doing that, it shouldn't be a shock to you. You should be shocked when they're not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, man, you ain't that way. Oh, man, okay, cool. Right? And they genuinely not that way. Now, someone would say, well, Phil, we're not all like that. And you think anti-black racism is a Klansman. Because that's what they do. They like to go to an extreme. They like to use the Klan or the neo-Nazi as racism. That's how they like to talk about racism. I've never said the N-word. No, you never said it. But you don't support reparations in the form of cash payments, do you? When you say, well, I never owned slaves, why should I have to pay? And you know the history of America way better than we do. That's why you want to ban and burn books. That's anti-black racism too. When you're sabotaging black people from getting a job, that's anti-black racism too. That's not a Ku Klux Klan. The Klan is not doing that. The Klan's in the middle of the street talking crap, but they're not doing that unless they got these positions. Then they're doing it. Anti-black racism is denying black people for a home loan when you got a 700 plus credit score, good money in the bank. You got it. And you still figuring out a way to sabotage a black couple, but a white couple come in, have a lower credit score, okay? Sometimes they even have an equal credit score to the black person, and they'll get it. And the black person gets sent on their way. That's the anti-black racism I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that screaming and yelling, saying names to black folks. That's not what I'm talking about. We don't encounter that kind of racism on a daily. None of us do. So stop with that. I ain't never did that. I never did this. But you don't support reparations. You don't support the anti-black hate crime bill. You don't say nothing about gerrymandering. You don't say nothing about it. You don't do nothing about it. You're cool with it. Gerrymandering was done to prevent black political power. In other words, anti-black racism and sabotage. You say nothing about it. So don't come to me talking like I'm not that way and I'm not that way. No. least the Klansman, I see him coming. The neo-Nazi, I see them coming. Patriot Front, I see them coming. You, on the other hand, you hide very well, smile in our face, say you're not anti-black racist, but you agree with the same ideology as the Klan, because the Klan don't want us to have nothing either. The Klan don't want us with reparations. The Klan don't want us with an anti-black hate crime bill. The Klan don't want us to have good jobs. And a lot of you agree with them. So never let any of them try to play in our face like that, to say they're not anti-black racist. Racism is more than just being an idiot screaming the N-word on the street. And then some of y'all screaming that now. Y'all feel comfortable. Y'all say, I'm tired of holding back. Like, I understand why you're tired, because it's your culture. And that word really comes from your culture. And you not be able to say that word publicly without consequence, it's tearing you apart, because you feel like someone's taking your culture away from you. That's why you get so angry about it. That's why you try to justify it and say, oh, this person said, that person said, why can't I say it? Because this is something you say in your home. And this is a cultural norm. And when black people point out your cultural norm and say, no, your cultural norm is of the devil, that's why you get upset about it. And we have to address it like that. You're literally taking their culture away from them when they say they can't, when you telling them what they can't say in relation to anti-black racism. That's just really what that is. You have to understand it in the guise of culture, ladies and gentlemen. You have to understand it in that guise. Because the term racism could be individualized. And that's a trick they do too. They like to individualize each other. When we do something to black people, oh, it's all of us. Some little idiot in Chicago committing crime. Oh, that's the blacks. That's what they do. It's not that one individual idiot that committed some crime. No, it's all of us. But when we call them out, we talk about these school shootings and say, hey, man, how is it that we see a pattern of white males, young ones at that, getting firearms and go every other day, every week when school open? It's like clockwork. It's like clockwork. It keeps happening. And they don't say, you know what are we teaching in our culture to create this environment for our sons to be doing this? And they're going to schools in their communities and doing this. Then they give excuses. Well, it's mental illness. Listen, there's a lot of black people with mental illness. A lot of them. A lot. Because we still have a lot of trauma that we're dealing with living in this system. So you can't say it's mental illness, because how come black people don't go do what y'all doing then if it's mental illness? You ain't been through nothing to have mental illness. What are you talking about? The police don't harass you. You're first hire and last fire. What are you talking about? You literally can take the life of a black person underneath mysterious circumstances and nothing happened to you. Even if you do go to jail, you don't get the same time as a black person do, whether you're male or female. We get jailed on trumped up charges. That don't happen with y'all. I've seen stories where some of the men in your community violate a woman and get 3 months probation, and he actually did it. I mean, not like a molestation type of deal or touching. No, full on, violent, deal. You got, the kits done, the bodily fluids is in the woman and all that kind of stuff. And I've seen many stories where y'all get off with 3 months probation. Listen, that don't happen to black men. If black men do anything like that, they go into jail. And I don't want them to be out in society, but yet y'all get out in society. You understand what I'm saying? And that's not right, but that's the way your culture is. The culture don't want to hold nobody accountable. And holding the males especially accountable in this system, oh, no, I have a right to do what I want to do. Remember, at one point in time in this country, it was not illegal for them to go and do this to black women and children. I saw a video of a young girl interviewing a brother from Mississippi, an elder, and he was saying that when the girls would turn 13 around in his town, they would have to send them to Chicago, and the reason why they have to send them to Chicago, so those white males that roam around on the weekends, trying to catch a young girl, a woman lacking, so that's what they would do. They would run around looking for a black woman, a black girl, or somewhere, a walk-in or whatever, and they would basically gang violate. I'm using another word, gang violate the black girl or black woman, and they would not go to jail for anything. But they don't want you. But they don't want you talking about their history, because that's their history. That's what they done. But they're always trying to say the black man do it. The black men don't do nothing. They're always trying to project who they are onto us. Always have. Oh, the black man gonna do something to the white woman. No, he not, because black men know better than that. They already know what the get down is. They be chasing the black man. Even to this day, they chase the black man. Prime example, I saw a brother on TikTok, and he was talking about cruise ships. And he said, I'm just on a cruise ship. He said, man, what's up with these white women, man? He said, they all be trying to come up to me and touching on me and trying to get me to smash on them and all. He was like, no. He said, like, what's wrong with them? He said, you be seeing them with husbands and they still trying to do it. He said, what's wrong with these? And I say, well, shout out to that brother. He get it. And so many brothers talk about that, about how they just be pushing up on them. And they've been doing that. That's not just in 2025. They were doing it all the way back when. And then when they get caught, they'll say, oh, he violated me. Like, what? No, you was hoeing. Like, what you talking about? I didn't. Yeah, no, he did that. Like, you're the one. So many brothers lost their lives behind them doing that. Lying. It's a straight line. Well, you talking about Daniel Holtzclaw? Well, here's the issue about Daniel Holtzclaw. He wasn't fully white. They did that to him because he was part Asian. Okay, they knew he was not fully white. Now, if he was fully white, he probably would have got something, but he wouldn't have got the time that Holtzclaw got. I will say that much. They listen, even when they do that to their own women, you could just research these cases. Don't believe me. Just take your time and research these cases. They come up all the time. They don't really go to jail like that. I mean, my partner of mine was telling me, because he did some time. He said they'll come in there violating women, children, or whatever, and they'll be out of jail before a brother that has some weed or any other kind of drug. They'll be out, and they got them for possession, not even violent anything. They was possessing it because they were maybe selling or whatever, right? Or maybe someone was using. They get more time with possession than them violating children, violating women. They get less time. They come in and they come out. Now, you say you had to admit, I recently just got hip to their psychological projections just within the last couple of years. Yeah. You listen, they play a game because a lot of black people not studying, psychology like that and how they do things, and propaganda. Propaganda is something you really they're very good at propaganda. And unfortunately, a lot of our people fall for their propaganda. So what they do is it's a psychological thing a person can do. if you say something 40 times to a person, even if it's a lie, it gets in the subconscious of a person. Once you get things in the subconscious of a person, then you gotta root in them a little bit, right? And then you just keep on watering that. Eventually, they're gonna believe it because you just keep saying it. So they repeat lies constantly. They have to, because they invest in the media, they invest into apps, they invest into marketing, and so they can just repeat the lie constantly. Why do you think Trump, when he lies so well, people believe it? You think that he's telling the truth, and you can say, "Wait a minute, dude, what are you talking about? You're lying. The facts is right here." It don't matter about that. You keep repeating it like it's true. Eventually, people will believe it. That's psychological warfare 101, ladies and gentlemen. They do so much psychological warfare on the American people and also us as black people. The reason why some of you have self-hate issues is because you believe them and what they say is psychological warfare, attacking your self-esteem. If your self-esteem is down and you don't think much of yourself, then that's the nucleus of everything with a person. Self-image. Some of you hate your hair. Some of you hate your color. Where does that come from? Like Malcolm X told you, who taught you that? I don't know no black people that taught me that. And there's some black people who are teaching that. Who taught them that? Think about it. It all goes back to them folks at the end of the day. And the thing is, I understand this, and because I studied this, and this is part of some of my work that I have done. So you can't tell me nothing about my hair, my color, my anything. At one point in time in my life, I did have an issue with my color. I ain't gonna lie, I did at one point in time. I don't think like that about myself today, and ain't thought like that about myself for years, long time. Because I got the proper education, I understood where that's from, and like I said, my color is a superpower, literally. No dark-skinned black person should look down on themselves and say, "Oh man, I'm dark," and that. Like, no. God has blessed you with that rich melanin. You should be proud of that. You should be proud. Male or female, you should be proud. There's nothing against my brothers and sisters that are lighter skin or medium tone. Nothing against them, but as a dark-skinned black person, you get a little bit more flack in the area of colorism. You do. Well, who started that? Who started even dividing us based on skin tone? It was them. The brown paper bag test and all that stuff. That's from them. That didn't come from our people. All the issues that we have, and I say global issues that we have too, not just in America, global issues that we have. Because the same self-hate is in the African continent as in the Caribbean. All that cake soap stuff. Thank God we love ourselves enough not to do that. That cake soap stuff, bleaching your skin and all that, like I've seen some craziness in the African continent. Like, what is wrong with y'all? I remember that, what was that show on Netflix? Savage Beauty. They were selling that skin lightening creams and all that stuff. That was like how they made their money. It was supposed to be on the ground how they was making their money. But skin lightening creams is still big business. India is another place where, I'm just giving an example. Skin lightening creams. I think I saw a video out of Thailand. They were talking about that. I'm like, man, I wish I would. What was wrong? Nothing wrong with my skin. My skin is just fine. You say you wore a short sleeve shirt in the sun and now your arm is below your arm, your elbow is darker than your bicep. Oh, okay. It happens. So I know, I'll tell y'all this, that African sun is different though, because when I get over there in that African sun, I don't know what it is. It's like I turn a shade darker quick. I don't have to be there long at all. It's not like I'm in the sun baking over there. No. I'm not doing that. It's like every time I've ever went, it's like I just got the total darker color immediately. It's crazy. I say, what is it in this African sun? I think, 'cause I don't get like this in America. Yeah, you got some black people out here doing nose jobs and all of that stuff, and yeah. Now, but let me say things with balance. Let me say things with balance. I got to be balanced. I've heard of ethnic rhinoplasty or nose jobs. I've heard of those where doctors can do it in a way where it still look like a black nose. It don't look like a white nose. But you got to find a special type of doctor to do that, or a certain type of doctor that specializes in that. Because I don't know why a person get a nose job all the time, because some people got breathing issues and they get that for their breathing. And like I said, I'm not going to be the one discussing people's medical issues like that. But the skin bleaching stuff, that's not medically necessary. You cannot justify that. Now, some people may say, well, I got dark, I got hyperpigmentation. I'm darker here. I'm darker. And so I did it to even out my tone. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those that go from my color to looking like what I've seen some looking like Michael Jackson. Now, Michael Jackson had vitiligo. That's different. He had a skin condition. Okay? Many people get that. I'm talking about a person that don't have vitiligo or nothing. And you messing with your skin color? No, that's self-hate. And like I said, now I will say this, I think women deal with that a lot more. Because, it's like they're not, I don't know what it is with women, and it's more so a women thing with women, for what I see. It's like y'all really do all this stuff, and sometimes men not even asking for it. You think about it, most of the stuff that women do, men don't really ask for. They really don't. Like, I don't really know too many men that say, oh, go put lashes on. I don't really hear men saying that. Or go put this kind of makeup on, or go do all this kind of eccentric stuff, or wear these kind of clothes. There's not too many men that say that. Men, believe it or not, like simplistic. Like, natural beauty doesn't mean you don't wear makeup, but the ultimate beauty, I'm telling you, what men like is you can wake up with no makeup on and you still look nice. You took care of your skin. Your skin is not, bad because you took care of your skin. And that makeup messes up your skin. You're clogging all your pores with them chemicals in that stuff. And then if you do wear some makeup, you're just complimenting you, right? They got many face creams out there. They work very good. Especially if you're a black woman or any woman that got some sort of melanin, it's easier to maintain yourself because you're protected from the sun. So it's like black women, East Indian women, maybe Hispanic women, just any kind of woman that got some sort of melanin, maybe the darker Asian women, any kind of woman, they can just put on good face creams, take care of themselves, make sure they drink their water, not drinking all that freaking soft drinks with all that freaking mess in there that ruins your skin, fried food that ruins your skin. Just take care of yourself, get your facials or whatever, drink plenty of water. Your skin will be flawless. You say you saw a guy, he said he stopped bleaching because his skin was burning. He say it was hurt to lie in bed because he could feel the sheets through his skin. Well, if you want to be boo-boo the fool, and burn his skin, I guess so. I mean, shoot, if that's what it took for you to stop, good. God did not didn't want you to burn your skin. If God wanted you light skin, he would allowed you to be that. That wasn't your walk in life. Or too many people think they know more than God. You're not pleased with what God gave you. So you take all kind of risks. Not many women have died getting BBL, because that's the most dangerous surgery to do. That's very dangerous. And then some of the women, you see their before pictures, nothing was wrong with them. Nothing. But they try to compete with women, and I think that has to be studied. Like, why they have to compete with women so much? I mean, there's no reason for that. I mean, if a guy like you. Trust me, guys like women that are not even visually attractive. So you can't say, oh, well, I won't get a guy. Please. They got women. Listen, I've seen that show, The 600-Pound Life, and those women have men. They walk into Dr. Niles' clinic with a man. You hear me? With a man. And they 600 pounds. So if a woman that's 600 pounds got a man, it's safe to say men will just about date anybody. They're not too impressed with a whole lot. And I'm just trying to, and hit the gym. Like I said, I'm on my regimen. That's why I wrap up my live streams at 4:30 a.m. I'm up. I'm heading that way. I kind of got off my routine. Had a lot going on in my head for about 2 good months. I got off my routine. I said, oh, no. I got to get on my routine. I got to get at it. So, if I'm getting up at 4:30 a.m., I'm on it. You know what I'm saying? If I don't get up at 4:30, I'm not going to do nothing. And, hey, I love when I'm on my regimen. That's why I say, okay, I knew it got me off my regimen last time. That ain't about to happen. Oh, no. So, I look forward to it. Look forward to hitting the weights and hitting the cardio. Look forward to it. Just one thing I'm going to tell y'all this before I wrap up. The one thing that was sabotaging me a lot, I'm going to tell y'all, was don't eat at night. Like, you eating at night, that's what's getting me. Like, eating at night and then going to bed, it don't matter what it is. Don't eat at night. Like, cut that food off before nightfall. Cut it off. If you go to bed at 9, 10 o'clock, well, 3 hours before that, you need to not be eating nothing. And not eating nothing heavy either. You know what I'm saying? Like, what helps me is like no bread, no rice, no potatoes, no breakfast cereal. I mean, breakfast cereal is fake food. I've been focusing more on living food. And that's really been a game changer for me. It's been really helping me, living food. If it didn't live, don't eat it. That keeps you away from a lot of processed stuff. If it didn't live. If it didn't walk, it didn't have a life cycle, if it didn't grow from the ground, if it didn't have no life, don't eat it. And that'll eliminate a whole lot of problems. I'm telling you, fried food is no good. Don't touch it. Trust me, as black people, we got enough stress. We don't need to clog our arteries and get heart attacks, man. We don't need that. How we deal with high blood pressure, all this stuff, sometimes we can prevent that mess, and we need to. Oh, shoot, look at the time. All right, y'all, let me wrap this up. But thank y'all for joining us tonight on the stream. Greatly appreciate it. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you click the like button. But thank y'all for listening. We'll catch y'all on the next one.